Welcome to Night City, the review of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Episodes 1 and 2. The essence of cyberpunk as a genre is fighting against the hopelessness of an utterly crapsack world. The first two episodes of Netflix's Cyberpunk Edgerunners drives this home in a spectacular fashion, with the focus on protagonist David Martinez, a young man living in the thoroughly corrupt and decadent Night City, the default setting for the Cyberpunk TTRPG, and the setting of the video game Cyberpunk 2077, which this series ties into. Spoilers ahead for the first two episodes of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The genre of cyberpunk has been around for almost 40 years at this point, largely based on the works of authors like William Gibson with his novel Neuromancer, and the visual aesthetics of Japanese manga and anime of works such as Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo. In the first few minutes of Cyberpunk Edgerunner's first episode, titled Let You Down, we as the audience are introduced to the violent nature of this setting when a cyber psycho, someone who has undergone a psychotic break that may or may not be due to excessive cybernetic implants in their body, takes down a multitude of police officers in seconds. Prominently focused in this rampage is a cybernetic implant attached to the perpetrator's spinal column, which we later is revealed to be a Sandevistan implant, a cybernetic enhancement that greatly increases the user's physical speed. The beauty and horror of the rampage is center stage, and Studio Trigger does not shy away from the abject body horror of the situation. We then cut to the introduction of our protagonist, David Martinez, as well as his mother, who are living hand-to-mouth in one of the mega building structures that dot Night City. Despite not having the means to pay for a full washing machine cycle, David is enrolled at the prestigious Arasaka Academy, a school run by the mega corporation Arasaka to train the next generation of corporate executives. It's Gloria Martinez's dream that David uses the academy to enter the corporate world and escape the abject poverty that pervades their daily existence. We also learn that Gloria works for Trauma Team, a mega corporation dealing with healthcare that also serves as body disposal for crime scenes. We discover that she stole the Sandevistan implant the cyber psycho was using during his rampage, most likely to sell it on the black market to make enough money for David's tuition. David doesn't fit in with his other students, who are all the sons and daughters of corporate executives. One student in particular, Katsuo, takes perverse pleasure in using his cybernetics to physically assault David on a regular basis. To make matters worse, David and his mother are caught in the middle of a drive-by attack on the freeway when a group of gangbangers from the Animals gang attempt to attack a corporate executive also on the highway. The resulting crash leaves Gloria near death and David badly injured. Since Gloria doesn't have Trauma Team insurance, despite working for the company, she is left on the side of the road. David takes her to a back alley doctor, but due to substandard care, Gloria dies from her injuries. Upon returning to their apartment with his mother's ashes, David finds that he's been locked out due to the rent not being paid. Basically, everything bad that could happen does happen to David during the course of this first episode. At his wit's end, David tries to sell the Sandevistan implant his mother stole, but gets nowhere. And after another beatdown from Katsuo, David turns to a Ripper Doc, which is a doctor that specializes in implanting cyberware into people's bodies, stating under no uncertain terms he wants the Sandevistan drive implanted into him. The second episode, titled Like a Boy, picks up immediately after David's declaration to get chromed up, slang for installing cybernetic implants. The process is gory and deeply unsettling, which fits the amplified body horror nature of the Cyberpunk TTRPG and the video game. Transhumanism is a staple of the genre, and we see in the first few minutes of the episode that there is a cost involved. With his new implant, David returns to the Arasaka Academy and confronts Katsuo, soundly kicking the bully's ass. This catches the attention of Katsuo's father, a high-level executive in the Arasaka Corporation, who, as it turns out, was the manufacturer of this particular Sandevistan implant used by the Cyber Psycho in the first episode. While aimlessly riding the metro train, David encounters Lucy, an edgerunner who is inconspicuously stealing data chips from the passengers to later sell on the black market. When she attempts to steal from David, he uses his Sandevistan implant to catch her. The two quickly strike up a deal to work together and snatch more data chips, with David using his new implant repeatedly. This overuse causes his body to start to break down, with him passing out after getting a hellacious nosebleed. When a trauma team ambulance worker tries to take David hostage so that she can sell the Sandevistan implant, which is shown to be a military-grade implant, thus worth quite a lot of money on the black market, Lucy absconds with David while he's still attached to the gurney, showing that she is a thrill seeker as well as a criminal. The pair end up back at Lucy's apartment in another mega building and commiserate over their dreams. For Lucy, she wants out of Night City, intent on moving to the moon, which has been colonized at this point in this alternate reality. The two share a brain dance, which is a virtual reality simulation that looks and feels real, bonding over their experiences. After all of the hardships that David endured in the first episode, it feels wonderful for him to have this moment of bliss with someone that he seems to share a genuine connection with. But this is cyberpunk, and there are no such things as happy endings in a cyberpunk story. David is ripped out of the brain dance by a group of edgerunners with Lucy watching. It becomes quickly clear that they want the implant David has in his body, and they're willing to rip it out of him to get it. Having been a fan of this cyberpunk genre for years and being a fan of the tabletop game the anime is based on, I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 episodes of this anime series. Viscerally violent, Cyberpunk Edgerunners doesn't shy away from the gaudy and decrepit nature of Night City. This is a world where life is cheap, the downtrodden are kept in near total poverty to appease the megacorporation schemes, and people like David and his mother Gloria are constantly fighting an uphill battle just to survive, let alone thrive. But by becoming an edgerunner, aka a cyberpunk, David has the chance to buck the system, even if it's only for a little while. And in this kind of universe, that's really the only chance anyone really has.